Welcome back. Last week, Tuesday, Prime Minister Philip Davis and Minister of Transport and Energy, Jobeth Kobe Davis, met with representatives of the Bahamas Ship Owners Association, BSA, at the office of the Prime Minister. They discussed key maritime industry priorities and ongoing collaborations with the Bahamas Maritime Authority. The discussions focused on fleet growth, digitization, the Bahamas' leadership at the International Maritime Organization, the IMO. The Prime Minister emphasized the government's commitment to sustainability, supply chain efficiency, and trade diversification. Climate change and the maritime sector's role in reducing greenhouse gas emissions were also key topics. With the Grand Bahama Port Authority, the GBPA, and the government in an ongoing dispute over the Port Authority's alleged failure to meet its obligations under the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, F&M Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Kwesi Thompson, believes the government is mishandling the situation. Here's more on what he had to say.
What the government is doing is the wrong way they are doing it. They are seeking to have a conflict with the Grand Bahama Port Authority. While what we do need is for both parties to work together to ensure the best economy that we can. There are some issues with ease of doing business. The government must be focused on making it easier for folks to do business, not just in Grand Bahama, but in the entire Bahamas.
Thompson emphasized that the blame is to be placed on both ends, suggesting that the Grand Bahama Port Authority is in need of organizational restructuring.
There has to be structural issues to address in terms of the ownership of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. We also want to be licensees to be more involved in the governance of the Grand Bahama Port Authority.
According to the Bahamas government, the Port Authority owes the government $357 million. However, the Port Authority rejects this claim. The matter is in arbitration. The U.S. Embassy Nassau has been prompted to issue the following notification. The embassy would like to remind the Bahamian public that accurate and up-to-date information regarding visa requirements, updates, wait times, and visa statistics can only be found on official U.S. government websites, such as the U.S. Embassy Nassau website and the U.S. Embassy Nassau official social media pages. U.S. authorities are encouraging anyone, to rely on these official sources to ensure you receive the most accurate and reliable information. And finally, the Bahamas Red Cross has faced some setbacks over the years, but remains a constant aid to Bahamian society. President of the Red Cross, Edison Sumner, spoke to the impact the organization had last year, highlighting that there are major plans for improvements in the works.
Last year, our records indicated that we served over 50,000 meals. Right, that's a lot of mouths to feed. Our program this year, we are seeking to expand that into not only serving hot breakfast food, but also looking at how we can now serve a supper, which is a meal between lunch and dinner, because a lot of these families, the meal that we serve them is the only meal they have for the entire day, right? So imagine that. So we're now thinking about how we can expand the program to now provide meals for some of those families that are, between lunch and dinner. And then for those families who have the ability to cook for themselves, but they don't have the resources to do so, we provide them with a box of dry cereal that they can prepare their own meals so that they can go and cook their food, right? And that's for those who are able-bodied to do so. The others who just don't have the facilities are the ones where we actually provide them with a hot meal every day.
According to President Sumner, although they are achieving such numbers, funding for their projects are becoming increasingly demanding. Nevertheless, he says the work will continue with the resources being made available.
In our subvention from the government, we now get an annual subvention of $500,000, which is up from about $60,000. We expect to get that again this coming year. Most of that money is earmarked toward our social welfare programs and disaster risk management programs. As you know, every event we have is the intention is to raise revenue and resources to support all the work that we do, and the work is tremendous. Every day we are feeding up to 200 plus families in this country, and that takes a tremendous amount of resources. Fortunately for us, last year we didn't have any major hurricanes. We did have a threat of a hurricane, and we mobilized our team, and so they were well prepared for it. But every time we put out fundraisers to raise funding. That is done with disastrous management in mind. It's done with our communities in mind, because we support not only communities in New Providence, but in Grand Bahama, and we're now looking to expand our reach into other islands across the country as well.
The Red Cross is set to host their next fundraising event on March 29th with a cultural concert at Arawak Key. That'll do it for your JCN Evening News. I'm Jarino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.